Hey, deserving listeners, it's time to continue our journey watching 90 Day Fiancé. My name is Dr. Kirk Honda. I'm a therapist and a professor. I've been both those things for over 20 years. I usually have things to say when I watch this show. Let's get to the show.
I love Larissa, but apparently that's not enough.
I'm sorry this happened.
I'm sorry too. I mean, this has been one of the hardest days of my life. I'm not sure what's going to happen next.
So I know some people have been commenting that I am not picking up on how much of a gaslighter he is. Sometimes I'm not quite sure what people mean by that, but if I were to point out his behavior right now, that would be in line with that. And I could never know. And I never want to jump to conclusions. You know, I'm just not that kind of person. But if I were to hypothesize and look for things, what I could point to, what just happened? Well, they got in a huge fight that sounds like it went on for a long period of time. She locked herself in the bathroom. He turned off her phone. She posted a bunch of things. The police showed up. She goes to prison. She's detained. And then his statements are, I don't know what to do. I'm so sorry this happens. I'm going to try to get her out. And not statements like, I can't believe I turned off her phone. I can't believe I said those things to her that made her want to go into the bathroom in the first place. I can't believe that I wasn't nicer to her so that she, wouldn't have done. I don't know. At the very least, you would think he might say something like, looking back, I shouldn't have turned off her phone. That was a really, really stupid thing to do, because that's very controlling, and to cut off someone's access to contact other people is not a good idea to do, and I can't believe I did that. He's not saying anything along those lines. He's only saying, woe is me, how do I get her out of, being detained? And I don't have money. My dog's barking. Probably at the chickens next door. I don't know. But now I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying? It's interesting that he's saying that I want to get her out of prison, but it's going to cost a lot of money, and I don't want to waste my savings. You hear that? So it's like maybe he does have the money, but he doesn't want to. There's a possibility that what's happening here, who knows, but here's a narrative that we can add to the possibility pile, which is he absolutely knew what he was doing. He was even mildly provoking her because he's a jerk face. It's possible. He was threatening her and has been threatening her for a long time in various ways. She locked herself in the bathroom because she felt legitimately unsafe. She was trying to contact support systems legitimately. He cut off access to her phone, which was a, ugly domestic violence, intimate partner violence controlling behavior. She managed to get a communique out. They legitimately called the police on him. His white privilege got her arrested. And he likes the fact that she got arrested. That was maybe even kind of her point, because he wants to come across as superior. He wants to seem like he's the calm, awesome one and she's the crazy one. And he has the power to get her out, but he doesn't want to pay for it because he wants to punish her so that he can control her, so that he can continue to have sex with her and all those kinds of things. It's not a stretch to say that that might have happened. We don't have any direct evidence of that. There is some circumstantial evidence of that. There's also evidence of other narratives. And I don't know which one it is, and maybe the show will reveal which narrative it is. Hey, deserving listeners, as you know, I'm constantly recommending that people go to therapy. We all need therapy from time to time. One of the options available that is definitely worth checking out is BetterHelp.com. So if you're looking for a therapist, I would give it a try by going to BetterHelp.com/Kirk. Make sure you use the /Kirk because you get 10% off your first month, and it helps us out. I get a lot of emails from you saying that you're looking for a therapist. As you watch these videos, I know many of you have been motivated to find your own therapist. but I know it can be really hard to find a good one to work with. Like I said, one of the options available to try is BetterHelp.com/Kirk. And you should know that this service is available to clients worldwide, which is amazing. I've been told that you can start communicating with your therapist in under 24 hours. You can message with your counselor anytime. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions. And I've been told that it's often less expensive than in-person therapy. So go to BetterHelp.com/Kirk to get 10% off your first month of therapy today.
Let me know if it changes or what happens. Maybe I'll get on the plane and come home.
I love you, Mom.
I love you too.
Bye. I have a lot of concerns right now. Since this is her second charge, I don't know if she's going to be deported. I don't know if her bail is going to be like $10,000. I don't know anything. I don't even know if Larissa even wants to be married to me anymore. I don't know how she's feeling right now. I just hope that she's okay.
What I will say is that I believe in humans. I believe that Larissa has a good heart. I believe that Debbie has a good heart. I believe that Colt has a good heart. I believe that people with good hearts can do bad things. And when I've treated people, treated couples and families like this, I try to focus on that. And when I do, I can usually help people. Not all the time, but I can usually say, okay, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, yeesh, some bad things have happened in the past, but what are we going to do to move forward? They're asking me to help them with their future relationship, not their past. We can't do anything about what happened in the past. We can heal from that. We can apologize for that. But let's move into the future. And some people have been traumatized to such a degree that it's really hard for them to actually extend themselves with empathy. So they have a limited ability to have empathy for other people, but it's still empathy. And so that's what I'm seeing, is that potential. Now, the stress of watching them makes me want to slip into a mindset of, okay, who's to blame? What's the real story here? Who's the villain? And, that's just not how I like to think. I think that sort of thinking is what leads people down the road where they're at right now. Trying to figure out, okay, who's the villain is often everyone ends up being the villain, essentially. So do they ever end up therapy? I'm guessing they don't, but let's continue watching.
It is 11:30 p.m. on a Sunday. I'm waiting outside the detention center for my wife to be released. And I have no idea how long I will be here for. The bail bondsman told me that the release is kind of up in the air. It could be 12 hours, it could be 18 hours. There just really isn't any way to tell.
Yeah, that's my experience. I, in my early career, did a fair amount of work in courts. Not a lot, but some. And the way the courts operate is, they're doing their best, but sometimes they get backed up. Sometimes a hearing goes on long, and you really just have no idea. And I would spend a lot of time just sitting in the hallway of a courtroom, of a courthouse, just waiting for things. I can't tell you how many times. My memories of that early part of my career where I would end up in court a lot is not of being in court, but being outside of court, waiting to go into court and sitting on the very uncomfortable benches that they have. It's almost like they're purposefully uncomfortable so that you don't sit there very long. Or I don't know. They're often made out of like hardwood or stone or something. And this is before you had laptop. Well, you had laptops, but I don't know. I couldn't afford one. And you didn't have iPads, or you didn't have cell phones, or you had very limited cell phones back then. And so you just had to stare at the wall. I didn't have podcasts. I mean, what do you do? So a lot of the time, actually, I would spend writing in my journal. There's a fair amount of journal entries of me saying, well, I'm waiting for another hearing. And sometimes I'd be sitting there for no joke, 8 hours, just sitting in the courtroom, just waiting for something to happen, writing in my journal. You can get a lot of journal writing in 8 hours. So I don't know. That's just what I think of. That's what I'm reminded of when I think of this. Let's continue watching. All right. Well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.